When is it appropriate to flex in Overwatch? Playing flex is pretty self-explanatory. Flex is short for flexible, and if you can play flex, you can play a flexible range of heroes. I like to think of myself as a flex player because I can play all the healers, all the tanks, and a couple of DPS heroes pretty confidently. A big issue that players have noticed is how many people want to play DPS. What this leads to is a large amount of players that begin to learn to flex to other roles in a desperate attempt to try and save their team comps that they find themselves with in Overwatch matches. This doesn't always apply to DPS mains. If you play tanks exclusively and your team refuses to pick a healer a lot of the time, you may be inclined to pick around what your team requires at the time. This can send people into a downward spiral of never playing anything that they're good at and just filling in for what your team requires. While picking a good team composition and cooperating with your teammates in terms of your team comp is important, if you are an excellent Genji, then don't let other people take away from that. Don't be a dick about it though either. If your team desperately needs a Ryan to protect your soldier, or if you have no healers, then just make the necessary pick. But don't fall into the trap of playing heroes that you don't know how to play just because you're picking around your teammates. It takes vast game knowledge to play flex role properly. You have to know exactly what heroes need what positioning and which heroes need to do what in every single situation. It's hard enough to master one hero, but playing flex requires mastery of many, many heroes. Not a lot of people can confidently flex, myself included, and sometimes if you need to play your strengths, no matter what hero is optimal for you to play, you will do better. When is it appropriate to play flex is a difficult situation. It depends on your rank and how much you can rely on your teammates to play a role that you might be better at, but if your teammates pick around what you can play, then you're fine. But in situations when your teammates don't want to pick around you, then you must either flex into a role that you might not be wanting to play, or run into the match with a poor team composition. My recommendation is you first pick what you're good at, and then if your teammates still don't pick a good composition from there, for example if you just lack 2 healers, then you should probably make the switch over to second healer. If your team doesn't do well from that point, then you can switch off to second healer and attempt to play what you want. However, you need to keep in mind that communication is the key throughout all of this. If you're just making these actions and your teammates are probably going to be a bit pissed when they find out you've switched off second healer. So it's best to say something like, look guys, this is clearly not working. Can anyone else play second healer because I'm going to try out soldier and try and melt that barrier more quickly. At least you can say you asked nicely and you justified what you were doing. In conclusion, flex is a difficult role to play, and so sometimes it's best if you stick to your strengths rather than always picking around your teammates. However, cooperation should always come first. Then you should make a decision to play something that's not as cooperative as the original hero you flex to. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.